Check out the Comic Outlaw on YouTube. And welcome, everyone, back to the dark side. Back to Star Wars, Darth Vader and the Lost Command. Yes, sir, someone's betrayed Vader, and then you know they gotta die for it. Because that's just the way Vader rolls. Now Vader's been sent on a mission to find Moff Tarkin's son, Admiral Tarkin. But we find out that he's betrayed the Empire. And thus his commander has also betrayed the Empire, Vader's commander, because he's Shell is Tarkin's friend, and he sent a squad to destroy Vader. And they opened fire on him, trying to assassinate him as he slept, but the dark side surged through Vader and woke him up. And Vader's just taking them down, 2 by 2, 1 by 1, just wrecking them with the dark side. And Vader just will not be tamed. The dark side will not be tamed. I love how he just grabs a gun and just goes all haymaker on him. Boom, boom, boom. Vader's feeling that rage as he decimates the squad. And then he pulls information from one of them. Knowing that Vader, or Shell basically suspected that Vader was going to kill Tarkin. And deciding to save his friend, he betrays Vader, which is the biggest mistake man can ever make. And as Vader's loyal troops are pinned down, basically the Shell squad is just going through and murdering anyone who's loyal to Vader, or anyone that they think or may be associated with Vader. They're just wrecking them. And so Vader comes through, saves his men, and they begin the hunt. Because Vader's just not going to let this go. He's not going to let this betrayal to the Empire slide. And rage is flowing through Vader. And he decides that it's time for vengeance. It's time to finish this. And as they're preparing their squad, they realize one thing. The betrayal is absolutely complete. As the Star Destroyer explodes. And they realize that the ship has been sabotaged the way Tarkin's ship was. They've thought of almost everything except Vader's will to survive. And as the ship begins to blow in half, Vader basically tells his men not to panic. He has a plan. But first, they have to get away from the explosion. Now keep in mind, this ship is huge. This has a lot of resources. There's a lot of men that are like dying. But Vader insists they must find that lady Shoro, the woman that started this, the so-called ruler of this area. And they realize the soldiers have been shot in the back. That means Shell's men betrayed them as well, and they took the lady, possibly for insurance, possibly for something else. But as these troopers begin to run out and retreat, realizing that they have to get the hell out of here before the ship explodes, hoping that it consumes Vader in the fire. But at this point, these troopers are basically here to save themselves, but they're interrupted in their escape by Vader, who just flings them to the side, tells his troopers to get to that ship and to board it so they can escape, so they can live to fight and find these traitors and crush them under the boot heel of the Empire. So they get in the ship and they barely escape, but the ship is taking damage. Now keep in mind, Vader is a very good pilot, probably one of the best. His skills did not diminish after his change into the dark side. He still remained one of the Empire's most excellent pilots, but still, even with an engine that's on fire, all you could do is basically crash with style. And Vader definitely does that as they crash down on this planet. Now Vader can protect himself with the dark side. The other troopers, not so much. After the count, Vader assesses the situation. He asks the commander how many are left. He says, including himself, 9. That'll have to be enough. They will continue to hunt Shell on foot. The betrayers of the Empire, they realize that they've killed more men, more troopers, more loyal servants of the Empire. It was a massacre, not an execution. It's pointed out. Vader would know the difference. He's participated in both. Now Vader realizes that they've just been ambushed, and of course, they have the high ground. Vader tells his troops to take cover, and Vader fixes that solution by taking the high ground himself. With one gigantic force leap, he flies into the air, lightsaber in hand, willing to cut anything and everything down to find Tarkin, to find Shell, to find this Lady Shuro, and destroy them all. This is the rage of a Sith. And he begins to wreck these soldiers who are just beginning to find out what they're into. As Vader calls out, "I am Vader, the Darth Lord of the Sith, and I am death." And he begins cutting them down, destroying whoever's in his path. As the troops are basically trying to cover their own asses and run away, they're caught by the betrayer. They're caught by Shell. And as these two guys with these big blowtorches come up to Vader, and they basically light him on fire. I mean, they've tried everything else, right? And Vader cringes, falls back. They use a sonic gun on Vader too. A very fascinating weapon as they take Vader down. But as you know, you can't keep a Dark Lord down. He wakes up again with a respirator on his mouth. And finally, we have the talk that we were going to have. Now, this man wants to kill him, of course. But Shuro is convinced they could turn Vader to their side. That somehow they can turn him from the Emperor. But Vader is doubtful. Vader is listening to him prattle on. And yet Vader feels something else. A different presence. More than this insignificant man. He feels her. And she says, "Anakin, you are the destruction of us both." And Vader sits there and listens as his heart fills with rage. But will Vader escape? Will he have his vengeance? We'll find out the next time. And I'll catch you on the flip side.